Hey guys, welcome back. Mr. Marone here. It is lesson 11.4, which is where we start our 3 sections on volume. And we're going to start with prisms and with cylinders. And mainly because they kind of coincide. So when we look for volume, we're looking for how much space is inside of a 3-dimensional figure. So we have 2 types that we're going to look at today, the prism and then the cylinder. The prism is a solid with polygon bases. So the bases of our prism could be triangles, rectangles, squares, trapezoids, hexagons, pentagons, you name it, and it's there. So we've got all of those different types out there. And then a cylinder is really just a specific case of a prism. A cylinder is a prism with circular bases. And when we're looking for the volume of a prism, it's very simple. We generalize it because there are so many different types of prisms. It's the volume is equal to the area of the base, the area of one of our bases, times the height, the space between the bases. So if I'm looking at my rectangular prism that they gave me here, if I find the area of that base, the area of the bottom, and I multiply by the height, that's going to tell me the full volume of that figure. Now, when it comes to a cylinder, it's the same formula. We just slip in that the area of a base of any circle is going to be pi r squared. So the formula becomes pi r squared times the height. So what you're going to have to do as you look through these examples is figure out what type of base do I have, and that will tell me how to figure out my area of the base. So if we look at the first one, we've got ourselves a rectangular prism, right? So the rectangle base and then my height of 9, the volume is going to be area of the base times the height, and the area of a base, or the area of a rectangle, is just length times width. So we can do length times width times height. So my volume is going to be 7 times 13 times 9. And that just gets plugged into the calculator. So when we do that, we end up with a volume of 819 feet, and this is cubed because we're dealing with volume here. So for each of these, you have to figure out what type of base you have. So this problem number 2, I've got a triangle front, a triangle back, and then 3 rectangles. So that tells me I have a triangular prism here. So our volume is the area of the base times height, and my volume is going to be 1/2 base times height for my triangle times the height between the figures. So if we look closely at this figure, my base of this triangle is 12. The height of the triangle right there, that right angle, is 4.1 kilometers. And then the height of the figure, the space between the figures right here, is 3 kilometers. And once again, you're just going to the calculator there. So half of 12 is 6, and 6 times 4.1 times 3 gives you 73.8. And that is going to be kilometers cubed. Okay, so I'm going to allow you to try the next 2 on your own. This, in number 3, is a trapezoidal prism, so it's got trapezoid bases, and then in number 4 is a cylinder. Be careful on the information given in number 4. When you come back in, both will be completed for you. Okay, welcome back in. So for my trapezoidal prism, my 2 bases are 18 and 23, and the height of the trapezoid is 12, and then the distance between the figures for that height is going to be 15. And I just plugged in and solved. For number 4, my cylinder, they gave me the diameter was 15, and our formula is pi times radius squared times height. So you do have to remember to cut that 15 in half to 7.5. So it was pi times 7.5 squared times 9, and that gave you 1590.4 cubic meters. So it's very simple. The most difficult part is remembering the formulas for area depending on the type of prism you are given. If you have any questions, make sure to bring them into class tomorrow, and we will talk then. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.